Good morning and welcome to Open, the show opening the Bronx and the rest of the world to you. I'm Kyrie Moody, filling in for Darren Jaime, and today we'll update you on what's happening in and around our borough in New York City. Coming up, New York City recently announced a program that could expand early learning for 2-year-olds across the city. We'll explore what this could mean for families and the challenges that remain. Next, millions of Americans make mistakes on their tax returns every year. We'll break down how AI tools are helping Americans organize paperwork, catch errors, and make filing faster and less stressful. Then a film festival is putting a spotlight on local filmmakers, offering a platform to share their stories and opportunity to be a part of this summer's lineup. We'll learn more about it and show you how to get involved. Lastly, solar energy can be an option for homes and businesses looking to save on costs. We'll explore how New Yorkers can switch to clean energy, take advantage of no-cost EV charging, and make their properties more sustainable for the future. So stay tuned. All of this and much more is headed your way because we're now officially open. Happy Wednesday, everybody. I'm Kyrie Moody, and you are now watching Open, a live program bringing the Bronx and New York City straight to you. We want to welcome our viewers to the Manhattan Neighborhood Network, as Open is being broadcast simultaneously on MNN's channels. You can stay connected to us on all social media platforms at Bronxnet TV. Some things have been going on throughout this past week. We'll take you through it with some Bronx updates. In local news, Assemblymember Jeffrey Dinowitz kicked off his re-election campaign, highlighting decades of service and commitment to making the Northwest Bronx an even better place for families. Our Bronxnet reporter Nova Bongiamonti has the story.
Assemblymember Jeffrey Dinowitz set in motion his re-election campaign as he invited community members to come along for the political journey with him.
Today is my official campaign kickoff. I've gotten a lot accomplished in our community, and I just want to keep on doing that. I've lived here all my life, and as I've said repeatedly, I want this community to be the type of place where people will want to stay to raise their kids, and that's what's happened in my family. And there's always room for improvement, but frankly, we have the greatest district in the state, and I want to make it even better.
Well, everyone in the community knows there's no one more effective than Assemblyman Jeff Dinowitz. But, on a personal note, the man who raised me with the values of public service is exactly the type of man we need to re-elect. One who's committed to our community, committed to day after day giving of himself to make sure this is a community we can work in, we can raise a family in, and retire in.
I mean, Jeff Dinowitz is one of the finest elected officials I know. He has an encyclopedic knowledge of the Northwest Bronx. He knows every street name, every pothole, every civic leader, every not-for-profit. He's not only in the community, he's of the community. And he's been fighting for the Bronx for more than 30 years. And I have a simple rule. If you've delivered for the Bronx, you deserve to be reelected.
His supporters expressed why they showed up to support the Assembly members' re-election campaign.
All of them are working, and all time preoccupied about the community. That's what we need. People that think not for themselves. No, they working for everybody in the community. They worry about us. For that reason, anytime I can be and there and volunteer for work for them, for the petition, for anything, I'm there until I can, because you need to be with the people that are with you, and they are with us all the time.
Because of the fact that we've just passed the most monumental election cycle that went the wrong way. Now we're in the post most monumental, and this is like more important than ever to make sure that people get involved and get this. The top of the mind is the ice crap that's going on, and after that it's everything else that we cannot, in my opinion, continue to go on the trajectory of losing what we have.
February 24th is when the petition begins to re-elect Assemblymember Jeffrey Dinowitz. Reporting for Bronxnet, I'm Nova.
Thank you, Nova. In other news, Arthur Avenue Bakeries and the Bronx Little Italy marked St. Joseph Day with their beloved traditional pastries. The day was a sweet reminder of how these traditions continue to bring the community together. Our Bronxnet reporter Ashley DeLeon has the story.
You might come to Little Italy for the pasta, but today is all about dessert. Arthur Avenue bakeries and pastry shops are celebrating St. Joseph's Day, where tradition is topped with powdered sugar.
Arthur Avenue bakeries aren't just serving dessert. They're carrying on a tradition that has become a staple in the community.
I opened it up myself 20 years ago now. This year will make 20 years. So I just grew up in the industry and I just always had a passion for it and always wanted my own place, so I did it.
And at Maroni's, that tradition brings in a steady stream of customers.
Any holiday, if there's a name day or something, yes, we see things. If there's anything that's accompanied by it, like St. Joseph pastries with St. Joseph, yes.
Maroni's isn't the only bakery honoring legacy on Arthur Avenue. At Artuso Pastry Shop, this year's St. Joseph's Day also carries special meaning as the bakery continues the legacy of the late Anthony Artuso, who passed away earlier this month.
Everything that he did was, the golden standard. So we're proud to have served under, his leadership and, feel blessed that we were able to work with him for so many years and that we learned as much as we did, because we wouldn't be where we are today if he wasn't who he was with us.
Family and staff say keeping traditions alive is one way to honor his memory.
Every March 19th, we celebrate or commemorate St. Joseph by making the St. Joseph pastries. There are two types of pastries. There's the St. Joseph Zeppoli that's filled with vanilla custard and amarena cherries, and then there's the St. Joseph Sphinge that's filled with cannoli cream and topped with a cherry, citrus fruit, and some green coconut sprinkles.
Between the pastries, crowd, and celebration for St. Joseph's Day, organizers say that pulling off the day was anything but a piece of cake. Reporting for Bronxnet, Ashley DeLeon.
Thank you, Ashley. That's all for the Bronx updates. We have to take a quick break, but we'll have more open when we return.
We are the eco leaders. We learned that everything starts with ourselves. Then we have to educate ourselves. Then we have to build community and use our imagination.
We're gonna start the show right now. This is my favorite part. Ready in 5, 4, 3, 2. Hey, this is Angel, and I am one of the instructors for the in-studio production. Here at Bronxnet, we offer classes that can help you elevate, expand, and start your television career. All you have to do is sign up at bronxnet.org/education. For the past 7 years, I have been in various productions, spanning from talk shows, independent films, news reports, art displays, teachings, musical performances, and many more. Ain't that right, Angel? Yeah, you're absolutely right, Angel. There are a lot of creative individuals that we're just waiting to sign up for the class. And if I may, can I also express Thank you, Angel. That's all the time we have left. Visit bronxnet.org/education and become a producer by taking the course. The class I offer is also in English, en español y también bilingüe. Nos vemos en la próxima clase.
Welcome back. Recently, New York City announced the 2K program, a new initiative aimed at expanding free early learning opportunities for 2-year-olds. The announcement comes at a time when access to affordable, high-quality childcare remains a major challenge for many families, with costs continuing to rise and availability varying by neighborhood. Joining us to break down what the 2K program could mean for families, the challenges that still exist, and the advocacy work surrounding childcare in the city is Tara Gardner, Executive Director of the Daycare Council of New York. Tara, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, tell me, what is the mission of the Daycare Council of New York?
So the Daycare Council of New York is a nearly 8-decade-old organization, and we were founded to and continue to support the early childhood education system in New York City, primarily supporting providers, ensuring that they are offering high quality programming and services to families and children across New York City, and then helping families connect to the care of their choice.
And before we get into the 2K program, this new initiative, tell me about the challenges, the current challenges that you guys have in childcare.
I think that there are many, right? New York City runs a great program, but there are many challenges that providers and families face. One, I'll start on the family side, is access to care, accessing care. You mentioned childcare being extremely expensive. It is, if not the most costly, second most costly expense next to rent for a family in New York City. And across the country. This is a phenomenon that is hitting across the country right now. And then on the provider side, the program operations side, it's really about the workforce. One of the biggest challenges is that salaries are not keeping up with the cost of living in New York. And so retaining the staff that currently offer services and attracting new staff to the field is extremely difficult.
And you know, when it comes to childcare, why is it important that our children are able to access high quality childcare? And not only just the children, but speak more about the parents as well, you know, just
Absolutely.
Trusting other people with their child.
Absolutely. So we live in a country, in a city, where every adult in a household essentially has to work. And that requires someone to take care of children ages 0 to 13, right, middle school, when they can then begin to travel and traverse the city on their own. What makes it even more difficult for and important for children 0 to 5, that's the period of time when their brains are absorbing the most information and they're experiencing the greatest brain development that they will in their lifetime. And so we need to ensure that they are in nurturing environments, highly regulated environments with qualified teachers who are going to nurture them, care for them, and educate them during this period of growth and development.
And tell us about the new 2K program.
Absolutely. I mean, we're really excited about the expansion of universality of care. Childcare should be like kindergarten through 12th grade, right? It should just be a public good that is offered to every family in New York City. You know, this is building upon a service that was a pilot program. Offering 2,000 seats beginning next fall is going to be amazing. The city is focused on specific school districts and zip codes across the city. And the Bronx, that includes Belmont and Norwood and Van Cortlandt Village, amongst a couple of other areas. And it will allow parents to go to work, I don't want to say carefree, but knowing that their children are cared for in reliable places that are regulated, that have spot checks and inspections. They've gone through a series of steps in order to obtain a license and a permit to operate, and that their children will be socializing and developing the soft skills that they need to start their academic journey.
And what are some of the, maybe some of the qualities that somebody has to have to able to get this 2K program? Is it just free for everyone, or?
So there is an application process that the city manages. In this iteration of it, I believe that it's what is called non-means tested. So that means that things like income won't be considered when applying for seats. So we don't run the program. It's like the application program part of the process itself. But I believe that it's like everyone applies. You have until a certain date to apply, and then the city matches families with available seats. Again, this first phase is 2,000 seats. Next year in 2027, it will expand to a total of 12,000 seats because 10,000 additional seats will be added.
And when you say childcare, you believe that it's definitely kindergarten to 12th grade. When people think about childcare, they just think about, children and toddlers, but how is it important for us to still nurture our teenagers as well?
Absolutely. So when we talk about childcare, we really talk about the 0 to 13 continuum, so birth to middle school, when children can then, once they enter high school, they begin to gain a little more independence. But parents need a safe, trusted place for their children to be so that they can work. Many programs and many traditional childcare programs are what they call school day programs, so they follow the traditional school day model. But we know that the traditional school day model doesn't match parents' working schedules. And so this is where the 5 and 6 to 13-year-old after school and before school care becomes really, really important because parents can't leave work at 2:30 or even before to go pick up their children in the middle of the day.
And with growing demand for childcare, what are the biggest challenges facing childcare workers today?
Absolutely. So compensation is probably one of the, if not the biggest, one of the biggest challenges. The workforce of early childhood education goes through the same rigorous academic preparation and standards and certifications that those working in programs in New York City public schools are traditionally Department of Education school programs, but the pay is not the same. The benefits, so retirement and pension benefits and health benefits are not the same. And to the point of the workforce working in center-based programs and in family homes make, over the course of a 25-year career, a teacher can make somewhere around $1 million, between $1 million and $2 million less by working in a childcare center, a community-based center, than working in New York City public schools programs. Wow. And so it's hard to attract and retain the workforce, who then become, there's generational experiences. I'm a product of Head Start. My sister is a product of Head Start. And our children went through early childhood education center-based programs. There's just this generational aspect to it, but if there's no one to work in the programs, and with this expansion, there's an expectation and anticipation that we'll need about 30,000 more people in the workforce, and we don't know where they're coming from yet. And so we're looking forward to partnering with the city and other advocates and organizations across the city to implement apprenticeship programs, to work with local colleges and universities, to ensure that those preparation programs are in place. And we advocate all day, every day for pay parity with New York City public schools.
And, what inspires you to work in childcare? It's the decline in teachers and things like that. Yeah. People are a little nervous about getting into that field. Just talk about what inspires you every day to, take care of other people's children.
Absolutely. So I will clarify that at the Daycare Council, we don't take care of anybody's children. We support the people who do take care of other people's children. But like I said, I'm a product of Head Start in New York City, Chama, Child Development Center in Harlem. It doesn't exist anymore. The building is still there. But without the program, my family could not have worked back in the 1900s, right, in the 1970s when I was a young child. Without this support, this service to families, families cannot work. Women who make up the majority of the childcare workforce could not work. And it's often women who sacrifice their careers and their trajectories because they cannot afford childcare. I also historically, I've always worked in nonprofit organizations in under-resourced communities to bring experiences and supports to the residents of those communities so that they could then have optimism, right, and opportunity and exploration and just opportunities to pursue the full array of things in New York City.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Tara. It's
Absolutely.
very helpful. And
Absolutely.
We hope that the 2K program takes off and add more seats.
And if I may, sorry, my team will not forgive me if I don't say that the Daycare Council is part of what is called the New York City Child Care Resource and Referral Consortium. We partner with 3 other organizations to help families access the child care options of their choice. And then we help those who are interested in starting businesses or improving their businesses with technical assistance and supports. So please reach out to us at the New York City Child Care Resource and Referral Consortium.
Nice. Well, thank you so much, Tara.
Thank you.
For more information, you can visit the website at dccnyinc.com. We got more here on Open right after the break.
19.7% of Bronxites currently experience food insecurity. Meanwhile, instead of these nice, colorful foods, this is the best food that they have access to. If this sounds like you, there are a bunch of resources to get healthy food for free or cheap. If you want to help, you might consider donating or volunteering in one of these places. Community fridges like this one are all over the city and allow New Yorkers to conveniently donate extra food to people who might need it. Go to this link and find your nearest one. Food banks and pop-up events like these provide millions of healthy meals to families in need. These organizations are distributing meals to Bronxites as we speak and are always accepting donations and volunteers.
What's up, creative family? Discover your voice with Bronxnet community media classes. Are you ready to bring your ideas to life? At Bronxnet, we offer television production classes for community members ages 18 and over, empowering you to share your vision with the world. Get certified in field production, in-studio production, and our new exciting addition, podcast production. Once certified, you can create your own show to air on one of our 6 TV channels. It all starts with our free Unleash Your Ideas Masterclass, designed to help you plan your show idea and set you up for success on your production journey. This class is offered at the beginning of each month for your convenience. Our dedicated Bronxnet team is here to support, encourage, and uplift you every step of the way. Join us and become a part of the creative force that engages and inspires the Bronx community and beyond. Sign up today and start your media journey with Bronxnet. Visit bronxnet.org/education to learn more and register. Let's create something amazing together.
Welcome back. As tax season enters its final stretch, millions of Americans are trying to get their returns done accurately and on time. This year, new digital tools, including AI, are stepping in to help simplify the process, making it easier to organize receipts and manage paperwork. Joining us to break down how these digital tools are changing the way people prepare their taxes is certified financial planner and bestseller author Shinobu Hindert. Thank you so much for joining us, Shinobu.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Yes, can you talk about the AI tools, how they're helping people with their taxes this year?
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's usually just overwhelming when you get a vast amount of paperwork that you have to figure out what you're going to do with. So, one of the first things that I recommend people do is to turn everything into digital files to make it easier when it's time to share that with your accountant. So, Adobe Acrobat has a whole suite of digital and, as you mentioned, AI powered tools that can help people scan, organize, and securely manage those tax documents, which can make tax season feel a lot less overwhelming.
And tell me, what is the first step that you would recommend in somebody that may feel, disorganized or all over the place? What's the first thing that they should get together or gather together when it comes to filing for taxes?
The first thing I would recommend is to digitize those files. So take all of that paper that you have, whether it's in files, envelopes, folders, and digitize it. So with Adobe Scan, you can use your phone to quickly scan those documents and you turn them into clean, organized PDFs. So once they're digitized, it's much easier to store, search, and then even share when it comes time to filing your taxes.
And how can Adobe Acrobat, how is Adobe Acrobat, how accessible is it? Is it a free thing that they could do, or is it a subscription that they have to pay?
So there's multiple different avenues you could take. It really depends on the level of complexity that you need. But for more information on pricing, all of that out, I would visit adobe.com/acrobat.
Nice. And when it comes to people making sure that their taxes are secure, what safety measure does Adobe take to making sure that these files don't get misplaced or that these files don't leak out on the internet?
Right. You don't want to be emailing your personal information around. Our tax documents have some of the most sensitive information like social security numbers, our income details, potentially bank account information. So using AI powered tools through Adobe, you can simply type in a prompt like password protect my file before you send it out. And then if of course you need to sign anything, you can also just type in add my signature using Acrobat's AI assistant. The documents can be secured and signed in seconds. So it's a really simple way to protect this information, as you mentioned, so you're not just sending it out there and it's available to anyone.
Nice. And is Adobe available to use on every software, or is there a particular maybe computer or particular spec that people have to go by?
Yeah, that's a great question. So depending on the device that you have, again, I would suggest going to adobe.com/acrobat, and you can see based on your device which would be the most beneficial for you. But what I would say is as you're preparing for tax season, a simple thing that you can do is use Adobe Scan and their mobile app as well. So as you're receiving tax documents coming in, rather than letting all this paperwork pile up throughout the year, as you're receiving them, you can scan them right away and store them digitally. So as you're building this essentially digital record for yourself, when tax season arrives, it feels way less overwhelming because you're like, you know what? I know where everything is stored and I can shoot that over to my accountant.
Nice. And I mean, when it comes to using Adobe, we have Adobe Premiere, Adobe Pro, tell us a little bit about Acrobat. Besides helping us with taxes, what else does Acrobat offer?
I am actually a financial expert, so my uses of it is primarily helping with this organized and combine and file as well. So what's really nice is you can take all of these files that you have and combine them. You can merge multiple tax documents into one PDF and then arrange them that makes sense for your filing process.
Wow. Okay, and just to transition between paper and AI, do you find that people struggle with it, or is it an easy transition?
It can be an easy transition. It's really up to you to be able to scan and do that. But I think the more we can digitize, the better it will be. And thank you again for having me. I would, again, encourage people to go to adobe.com/acrobat.
Okay, last question. Can we come in person, or is it just strictly online?
It is strictly online. That is a great question.
Nice. Well, thank you so much, Shinobu. Thank you for your time, and thank you to Adobe. For more information, you can visit the website at adobe.com/acrobat. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Open right after this.
There's a new channel to explore, and it's bringing the classics back to life. During the day, relive the Bronxnet originals that sparked conversations and built community. At night, dive into the hip-hop throwbacks that defined the generation. One destination, two powerful lineups. Now playing on Optimum Channel 952, Fios 2138, and streaming at bronxnet.tv. BX Legacy, where history meets the moment.
Only 57% of New York City high school students are college ready by their senior year. .5% of high school graduates either have no plans to attend college or are uncertain that they will ever attend. .34% of young adults don't go to college because they can't afford it. Discover what's possible. Bronxnet's education programs, internships, and opportunities help engage and inspire Bronx youth and beyond to pursue their passions. Be a part of the Bronxnet family. Whether you're interested in our shows, joining a class, or donating to support our mission, visit bronxnet.org to learn more.
Welcome back. The Mount Vernon Independent Film Festival is back for its second year, continuing to build on its mission, celebrating cinematic artistry and uplifting emerging filmmakers. Known for showcasing diverse voices from Mount Vernon and surrounding areas, the festival creates a platform where creators can share their stories and connect with the community. This year's festival will take place June 12th through June 13th, bringing audiences another exciting lineup of independent films. Join us now to talk more about the festival and how you can get involved is festival founder and filmmaker, Bryan Ribeiro. Thank you so much, Bryan, for joining us. Tell us about the film festival that's going down.
I mean, yeah, I'll start from the beginning. I'm a filmmaker. I come at it from a creative standpoint, and yeah, Mount Vernon needed a film festival. We have a lot of creatives and artists and filmmakers, people who've become friends of mine, people who are still undiscovered, and we needed a location to celebrate that.
And besides, uplifting emerging filmmakers, what inspired you to create the Mount Vernon Independent Film Festival?
Yeah, there used to be a film festival in town, and then for whatever reason, it's just not there anymore. And a friend of mine suggested, why don't you try and essentially resurrect it? And at first I wasn't too sure, just because it is a lot to handle. But after thinking about it, film festivals themselves are not, after experiencing it for the first year, aren't too dissimilar from filmmaking itself. It's a very collaborative effort. You have to create a coalition to watch these films, to create panels that celebrate film, ascertain what films can get awards. And like a film set, there's departments that you have to liaison between, especially as the director in that sense of it, and make sure that this vision gets created. And I've always seen filmmaking as akin to being in a boat that's already sinking. So the water is already coming up. You just have to get enough people working together to just scoop up enough water to get to like the island before you inevitably drown.
And I like that you brought up how it's a collaborative effort, because how hard is it like gathering people, gathering crew really, especially when you're independent, when you don't have major networks backing you up, such as like Netflix and things like that, or major streaming apps. How hard is it to get like the camera crew, the director, the producer? Speak about that.
On a filmmaking set or in the film festival?
The filmmaking
filmmaking. It was helpful that I went to school and met a ton of folks, and I've helped other people make films. So you organically create a network in that way. And with this film festival especially, I've kind of incidentally made more of a filmmaking group than I ever had before. We had a ton of filmmakers come in, and we had a ton of folks who had specializations that I never knew about in a way that were very specific to them. And now I can contact them for a film that I want to produce or a film I want to try and write and direct, and I know who to call. So I've always had filmmaker friends around me to lift me up, and then vice versa, lift them up and make sure that their visions came unfold.
Nice. And, you know, I know most film festivals or you know, events like these, they'll come with like kind of like a competition in a way. Like, do you guys do like a certain theme to your movies? Is it like a horror theme, or is it just come show your creativity?
Our first year, our theme was just short films because we were sort of figuring things out and we didn't have all of the infrastructure there. And now in our second year, it's shorts and features, but in terms of genre, it's open. It's horror, it's documentary, it's vertical, it's experimental. We had a film that was submitted that was 2 minutes long, and we had another film that was submitted that was 3 hours long. Wow. So we are watching all of these films with our team and trying to ascertain what quality of the film is it trying to speak on, and how do we want this to be shown in our festival? Is it good? Does it have production value? And even if it doesn't have production value or the highest end camera like a Red or an Ari, does it speak on something so unique that it has to be in the film festival?
So when you guys are judging these films, are you guys judging based on, of course it's the whole aspect of it, the whole outcome of it, but what are some things that stick out to you that's like, oh, okay, that was good, or that was unique? Is it the acting? Is it the film, the filmography? Is it, you know, just the setting of it? Like, what is the overall thing that you look for?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Some of the screeners go on vibes, but for me personally, I like to compartmentalize films because film is writing, it's production value. For example, this set, like what does this set and this color scheme do for the audience? That's what I mean by production value. It's the camera and the blocking, how a character, if they are isolated, let's put them farther away from the camera so that the audience feels something like that. It's sort of these very intentional choices made by the director or the team around the director to try and tell the story that I sort of look for in different avenues. Cinematography, writing, acting, editing, that's my background, so I have a very special keen interest for that, and sort of overall direction and the plot and the characters. So there's a lot that goes into it.
Nice. And what's the time frame look like to submit for the film festival?
Yeah, our deadline is April 13th, and then the actual event is June 12th and 13th. So we have a little bit of time. It's about 3 weeks, I would say. And a lot of people make sure that their films are in tip-top shape right before. So there's a huge flood that comes in right in that last week. And even then, we try to know about as many filmmakers in Mount Vernon, in the Bronx, in Westchester, in New York, and in foreign areas as possible, because some may not be able to submit in time. But let us know. We're open. We're still trying to get a coalition built with this film festival, and we're open to any kind of dialogue.
And when it comes to submission, right? You guys get flooded. How many films do you guys pick out, and what films, like, what do you see that doesn't make the cut? Like, what makes a film not worthy of being in the film festival?
Films are subjective. I think some films are better to people than others. I think it's usually having the basics covered. It's just making sure, like, hey, the people are mic'd up and the camera isn't overexposed on, you know, the windows behind. So usually those will get dismissed pretty early. And then really the difficult ones are in the categories where they may not have as much of a budget, but they are trying to tell something unique. Those are the more difficult ones because those hover in an area where you can tell that they're trying to say something, and maybe the message gets a little muddled, and maybe even the technicals don't work, but how much leeway do you have? And a big issue is also length. So we only have so much time. We're only a 2-day festival, so we can't have that many features. We're planning it in a way that maybe we'll have 2 features a day, so that only leaves 4. And in terms of shorts, we're not sure how many there are going to be. because one short could be 25 minutes and another short can be 5 minutes. So really, and this goes out to my partner, Dominique DeLeon, who's the head of programming, she is the one that sort of gets all these puzzle pieces of a film schedule together and tries to make sure they fit in a 1.5 hour or 2 hour block. So it's difficult to say a specific number.
Okay, and when it comes to that, do you guys like maybe when you guys, so if I sign up for it, are there like pre-qualifications that I have to go through, like where it says, oh, you must use a Sony FX3 camera, or can you use like your iPhone and things like that? Do you guys like kind of a little hesitant about that?
No, we can. Okay. We've seen AI films. We've seen films on the phone. We've seen films on ARRI and RED camera packages. It's just really a story can be told in any way, I think, regardless of the gear that's involved, regardless of the technicals, because really the heart of what we're trying to do at the Mount Vernon Independent Film Festival is to just get people back to a theater space. Our theater holds 1,278 seats. It's hosted at the Denzel Washington School of Arts, and we want to try and bring people back into this communal space, not too dissimilar from being around a bonfire and somebody telling a story. Same sort of like intimacy and empathy that comes out of, I think, experiencing a story collectively.
And as an independent filmmaker yourself, why is it important that we support other filmmakers, especially here in the Bronx, underserved communities? Why is that important?
There's so many reasons why. I think the more underserved, the more potential there is for a story to be told on a level that isn't clinical, that is told from the ground up, from people who have gone through whatever that they've gone through, and create, again, that empathy. Because I think we live in such an age where it's very easy to just look at something and kind of dismiss it, whether it's on the phone or social media or whatever the case is. But to be dedicated to a space, from being in a theater and experiencing a story told from somebody who's really putting it out there. When a director is telling a story through film, it takes months to make it, and their heart is really put on the line when they're that sort of condition. So that will be felt, I think, by most people in an audience setting, or maybe even in a phone setting, but it's so much more impactful when you have an AV system and the music is there and you can see this figure who's, let's say, going through something, and you see it inside of the screen. There's a powerful, weird, surrealist effect that has on you that creates a deep level of understanding.
Nice. So, okay, what can attendees expect from the film festival? If I'm coming through, I want some popcorn, I want some candy or something, what is it? What's the lineup? Like what's the time frame? How long is it and things like that? And give us the location again.
Yeah, it's at the Denzel School of the Arts in Mount Vernon, South 4th. And we have snacks. We will have local businesses come in and also sell their wares. We had a cafe come up last year selling swag, and that was really cool. And yeah, once you come in, you were sort of ushered into the festival, into the theater auditorium to watch some films, come out, network, and you get the really chance to meet other filmmakers, talk shop. That's a big reason why we do this, is so that you have the chance to network with a lot of people who are in and outside of Mount Vernon, Bronx, Yonkers, that sort of small pocket of areas. And yeah, connect. We will also have panels there for people. Nice. We're going to announce those as we get closer to the actual date itself. But last year we had a panel on women of color who are producers. We had one on stunts. So it was just these big guys talking about how they fall down.
Wow.
And we had one about Mount Vernon filmmakers, and we had one about, it escapes me, but we will have panels dedicated to that, and we will have an award ceremony. I love the pomp and circumstance of it. We'll dress up and we give out a ton of awards. And these are physical trophies, not like certificates or anything like that. We want to make sure that the filmmakers get rewarded for their efforts.
Well, thank you so much, Bryan. I hope to be there myself.
Yeah.
For more information, you could visit the website at mountvernoниff.com. Stick around, we'll be right back. Welcome back. Solar energy is quickly becoming a practical option for homes and businesses looking to lower energy costs and reduce their environmental impact. Also, as demand for electric vehicles continue to grow, property owners are also looking for ways to keep up without taking on high upfront costs. Joining us to discuss what options are available and how they're helping New Yorkers make the switch to clean energy are Jared Logan, Director of Renewable Energy, and Anthony Torres, Solar Sales Consultant at Smarter Energy Services. Thank you guys for joining us on today.
Thank you for
Tell us a
having
little
us.
bit about your company and what you guys do.
Yeah, so Smarter Energy Services is basically a solar consultant kind of firm. We work in different sectors. We do rooftop and community solar programs. We work obviously in EV charging. We also work with a multitude of companies that offer additional services such as like ESCO supplier rates and also electrification for buildings like new heat pumps and things like that. So we kind of do a full envelope of what goes into energy as far as its use on everyday purposes for either homes or businesses.
And like, what's like the setup when you set up a solar panel on the roof? You know, how do you connect it to the homes and things like that and make sure it's receiving the energy from the sun?
Well, install teams basically use inverters and cable and wiring and the panels itself. So the panels collect the sunlight, right? It's a direct current, right? And the inverter changes it to alternating current, the AC adapters that we're all used to, so that the home can be able to use that energy. So that's how it goes in. And, you know, people who live outside of the city, who may be watching this show, they have battery options as well. You know, in the city we don't have that because of the fire code concerns that we have with the proximity in terms of the battery technology. But basically, yeah, so panels, inverter, into the home.
And what are some pros and cons of switching over to solar, both in environment and then both in like in a home or business aspect?
I say probably like the pros and cons of it kind of come down to what your actual needs are. You know, pros obviously is about reducing your overall energy costs. So when you have solar, you're obviously producing energy that goes into the grid that helps offset what you're using on a day-to-day basis, whether it's daytime or nighttime. The cons that can kind of sometimes show themselves is going to be just determinant on who you're working with. You know, some companies are very just like in and out. They want to get it done quick. They don't really care about the long-term effects. So you want to obviously make sure that you're working with a company that is, you know, licensed properly, that they have been in business for a while, and that, you know, they make sure they provide you with a great customer experience, things like that.
Nice. And what exactly is the no-cost EV charging?
So basically, we have a program that is designed for commercial space, so whether that be like an apartment complex, a shopping center, a supermarket, things of that nature. So what we do is we go in, we first do an assessment of the property to figure out what their energy needs are and exactly where we can potentially place these devices, make sure that there is Wi-Fi connectivity so that we can have wireless app functionality. From there, we will contact the local utility. So Con Edison will also go to the Department of Buildings here in New York to get permitting, to make sure that we have submitted plans that are up to code and have been approved by an architect. And then from there, the installation process can take a few days. They're going to be mounting essentially terminals like you guys have here at Lehman, where there are like, it's essentially a post that will have 2 charging units on it, designated at specific parking spaces so that they can go ahead and get that hooked up. When we connect the system, and how we kind of do it at a no-cost feature is that we build it into the property's commodity contract. So what that is like their electricity rates that they can buy from a secondary market as an ESCO. We build that in so that they themselves are not having to pay any capital outlay, because that's kind of the biggest thing that holds property owners back as far as, you know, making that switch or installing these kind of devices, because there is a good amount of money that goes into it. So we install that for them at no cost, and how it works to benefit them is that first and foremost, we do a profit sharing program. So over the first 5 years, the profit sharing is kind of designed so that both parties are still making money off of the investment that has been made. From there, we then look to make sure that they're advertised properly. It's posted on different websites and different apps like PlugShare that will tell you, you know, if you're a person who owns an EV, where can I find, you know, a location to charge my vehicle in my neighborhood. We want to make sure that people are aware of the fact that there's charging units there. And what it really does for the property as well is it adds an additional amenity. So if you have like a shopping center or a laundromat or a supermarket, you're attracting people to come there that might have not normally visited you. And because you are some kind of service provider in regards to, like, say, if you're a supermarket, that person who might not have ever shopped at your supermarket might come there and be like, hey, I need to charge my car, but while I'm here, I might as well go shopping. Or maybe it's a laundromat and I need to do a load or things of that nature. So it adds an amenity without having to cost anything capital, and it also generates revenue on the back end.
Wow, that's interesting. And before I switch over, or somebody switch over to solar, what should they, know about solar energy when they're in their home or using it on their business before they, go from the energy that we use now into solar?
Well, like Jared was saying, it's really about, does it work for your home or for your business? Right, the numbers have to work out. What we like to do is achieve some basic things. Are we able to produce all of your energy, your usage? Can we match that? That's a big factor, right? Because the goal is to not be relying on the grid power and not be beholden to the utilities, rate increases, and other fees and such. All right, so once you are looking at that, you're also looking at, can you save in the first month compared to what you're paying for electricity in that month? So these are issues that we really stress for homeowners and business owners, or just property owners in general, commercial or residential, to really be able to look at. Is your roof sound? We have to inspect your home to make sure that, is it suitable for solar? Is your building suitable for solar? So all those factors really go into helping you make a decision for your business or your family.
Nice. And what are some of the services for homeowners and businesses that you guys provide, as far as, like, is it different subscriptions, different levels to it? Is it like high quality? Is it like versus like a lower quality? How does that look?
On the EV charging side, what we do is we install what are called level 2 chargers. So they do take slightly a little bit longer, but what that does is it also allows for the business owners to have less of an impact on their energy usage, since they will be kind of essentially, providing that to the charging station. Like we talked about before, obviously it's at a no cost setup because we want to make sure that it's accessible for businesses that can, benefit from this, and they're also offering that amenity to their customers and to the environment as a whole, as far as the general services around there. In addition to that, like I said, we offer other services. So we do offer services such as like energy supply rate services, so we can help them look at their gas and electric bills, figure out if we can get them a better rate, especially with how the market is right now, with everything going on in the world. Gas prices are up, which is causing electricity to go up, which causes natural gas costs to go up. So we want to make sure we offer that, and then also electrification services, as far as like if you own a building or a property, do you want to put in an electric boiler? Do you want to put in heat pumps? Do you want to put in things like that? Are some of the features we offer in regards to that, and then also some of the solar stuff as well.
And who is solar energy really, like, who is it for? Who is it designed for? Really, like, if I have an apartment, can I get it? If I just have a home, a house, business, like you guys stated, or can I just use it for my car as well?
Well, originally it's for people who own properties.
Okay.
That's sort of the easiest way to do it, and it works well for the utility because then that energy goes strictly right into the system itself. So the idea is that it's cheaper for the utility to get that energy locally, as opposed to, say, from Canada or upstate or Jersey, which is quite often where we get it. Okay, so yeah, that's a big part of it.
And then also, like you said, for people who rent, we offer community solar programs. So what that is that a developer will build a big solar field, farm somewhere in like upstate New York, where there's hundreds upon thousands of panels. The energy generated there goes directly into the utility grid. From there, individuals who are renters, who are maybe small business owners who don't own the property they live in, or I'm sorry, the property that their business is in, they can actually subscribe to one of these programs, and what will happen is they'll receive a discount on their electricity bill. So every single month they'll get a bill from Con Ed like normal. On there, there'll be a new section that'll show, hey, you're getting a discount by being subscribed to one of these community solar farms, and that discount can be anywhere from 5 to 10 to upwards of 20% off, and those discounts last for a period of up to 25 years.
Wow.
So it's designed to be able to say, hey, the house next to you got solar panels installed, the homeowner wanted to do that. You live in this apartment building next door, but you want to be able to contribute to sustainability, and you also want to save on your energy costs. Well, hey, you can go ahead and sign up for one of these solar farms. Nothing happens. We don't need to install any equipment, put anything on the building, do anything like that. But because you said, hey, I want to be part of this farm, you're now going to receive credits on your bill for a period of up to 25 years. There's no cost to do this. There's typically no ETFs that are involved. And also, if you move, that discount will move with you as long as you stay within the Con-Edison footprint. So it's really a way for everybody to be able to have access and participate in like renewables and the clean energy revolution.
And one thing to add in terms of community solar versus rooftop, like Jared was describing, it's not really as involved a commitment as would be for rooftop. So with community solar, it's similar to a lot of other supply arrangements that people may have been used to, but unlike that, it's not a commitment that binds you in. So people have the option to be able to benefit.
Wow.
It's never going to be a detriment. It's always going to be a benefit, which is the savings.
And what are some common misconceptions that people have about solar energy or the use of using solar panels and, just switching over? What are some things that people may, some misjudgments?
Well, with community solar, it's a new enough concept where people can't wrap their minds around the fact that there's not equipment involved for them. So that's a big hurdle for people. Now, in terms of other things with solar, you had asked the question about, when it's cloudy, all right? So people are concerned about that. He mentioned when it's snowing or when things get dirty over a period of time. So these are things that are real, but they are not as impactful as one would think because they're looking at sort of urban legends or online rumors and things along those lines. And there are other things as well that come out that, have easily been debunked or addressed in a way that gives homeowners or just property owners the comfort level that they're engaging in a relationship with you over a period of years and decades, and that it's going to work out as best as possible.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Jared and Anthony. For more information, visit the website at smarterenergyservices.com. We've come to the end of our show today. I'd like to thank all of our guests for joining and you, the viewers, for tuning in. If you missed any parts of today's show, you can catch the recablecast on Optimum Channel 67, Verizon Fios 2133, or watch anytime on the web at bronxnet.org. You can catch a brand new episode of Open with Rena Valentine on Friday. I'm Kyrie Moody. Happy Holy Week for those who celebrate, and happy Easter. Stay safe and stay blessed. That was good.